very pleased with all of it, but I wanted to make sure that.
It's a lot cleaner and more
Yes.
focused than it
Yep.
was.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I agree.
we'll
Somebody
hold
did a
that for
good
the
job.
end. Okay, I'd like to welcome you all to the Sustainability Advisory Board meeting tonight on Monday, July 1st. Call to order. I see that we have quorum. Public comment. I'm guessing there is none. Okay, would someone, I know you all read the minutes from June 3rd. So would someone like to make a motion to accept?
So move.
Seconded.
Any discussion? You did all read them, right?
I did look.
Okay. Okay. All in favor of the minutes as printed?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you. Stephen, take us away on our urban beekeeping brochure, which I must say is beautiful.
Thanks. So this was a brochure that I think I started
Can you guys see?
several months ago when we were still working on revising the ordinances. And then I wanted to finish it up because I wanted to have the newest information out there available for people. So I tried to put and make sure everything was up to date. So like permitting period, the fee for the permit, what you need for the application, the process. So it's pretty simple now as far as the process. So staff reviews an application, determines whether your application that you're submitting for beekeeping meets our ordinance standards. If it does, staff will issue the permit. There's no notification period, as we mentioned before. So that was streamlined in the ordinance, and I tried to reflect that here. So a pretty simple process for keeping bees, but I wanted to make sure that that was reflected here. I put our planning services contact information there. And then I emphasized where beekeeping is permitted. So single-family residential properties only, not two-family, just single-family. It could be any zoning district, but the parcel has to have a single-family property on it. Maximum hive size, we put a new requirement in the ordinance, so that's reflected here. The number of hives per lot is reflected. And then the setbacks, so no closer than 5 feet from a property line, no closer than 25 feet to any adjacent dwelling. And then where you can place beehives, I went into the flyway barrier that we used to require all the time. Now we have exceptions. So basically, if your beehives are located more than 25 feet off your lot line in your property, you would not need a flyway barrier generally. So that's shown just a little image of the flyway barrier there, and then the maintenance requirement. And I put the section and chapter of the municipal code where you can find the regulations. The idea too is that we would include this brochure, the regulations, whenever somebody comes and gets a permit. At least I do that when I issue permits. I want to make sure that people understand the regulations and that they have a copy available that they can take with them. So that's what this is. I try to keep it front and back pretty simple, one page essentially.
Excellent.
Excellent. Yep.
Thanks.
Informative and gorgeous.
Good to hear.
So we're going to go ahead and print this then?
Do you want to make a motion and take formal action on it? I put it as an action.
It's an
item.
action item. We should do that. Would anybody like to make that motion? That we go ahead and print this as written?
We'll make that motion.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay.
Will we have it for the farmer's market?
I will do my best to get it printed this week if I can.
Just to be clear, we do have the farmer's market next Saturday, right? Yes. We'll get to that, yeah. Okay, the next thing is our water revitalization bill, which was sent out, so you probably all had a chance to look at both the bill that Senator Baldwin's office had shared and the letter of support that City Manager Roloff had written,
Actually, I
or that you wrote for, Mark?
drafted it
Drafted to give to him.
on our behalf. Yep.
Yes.
I kind of used another letter as a sort of template that we did. Use that as the template, but then I figured you all can make some changes here tonight if you'd like. We had some staff discussion on this, and there were a couple of routes that we thought we could go. One was to have the SAB, you by yourselves draft a letter and send that directly to Senator Baldwin's office. I talked to my superiors, and they thought the better route would probably be to draft a letter to the city manager and the common council saying that you support this and you're asking them to consider supporting this. That's the route that my superiors, my supervisors had asked for me to bring forward. So I drafted this in response to that.
Do you have a copy to?
I should.
You can have this one if you want.
Oh, thank you.
I already read it.
Who is your superior now?
Right now, Mark Lyons is my
Okay.
interim director.
Okay, so do we see any suggestions we'd like to make to this letter, or do we like it as written?
I like it as written.
I thought it was
I
good.
liked it, yeah.
Okay, I do too, so it is an action item, so if I could have a motion to approve this so that Stephen can send it on.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good job.
Thanks.
You're just rocking it this week. Let's see, Lakeshore Master Planning Process.
So this one, June 10th, I don't know if any of you were able to make that, but that was a public visioning meeting,
Yeah.
and that was at the convention center. So it was kind of a first meeting to kick off the process.
There were actually several of us there.
Oh, good. I know I couldn't make it,
Yeah, I
but,
was there.
yep. And then July 8th is a big one, and that's a joint meeting between the Advisory Parks Board, the Pedestrian Bicycle Advisory Committee, and then us. And I'm supposed to be there, and then the other staff liaisons for those boards should be, or will be there, I think.
And although we can't make that mandatory, we would strongly suggest that if at all possible, you do attend, because it is noticed as a workshop between the three groups.
I'll be in California.
Who's going to be chairing this meeting, this joint meeting?
Now, that is a good question.
That is a good question. I think the consultant will, they should be there. I am not sure. I'd have to check with Parks Director Maurer on that. I could check with him.
If I had to guess, I would say it will probably be the chair of the Parks Board, because it's their regularly scheduled night, so we're probably participating in their workshop.
It wouldn't surprise me. Because Ray's been kind of coordinating this with the consultant, and the Parks Board's been pretty heavily involved, so.
Yeah, it's kind of the Park Board's baby. So anyway, if you can possibly make it, please come. It's at the convention center again?
Yes.
Are we going to have anything in advance to look at or not?
I do not believe so. I believe all I have is a schedule at this point.
Okay.
They don't have any alternatives or anything drafted yet, from
All right.
what I understand.
I think they're still accepting input, but if they
Yes.
show us anything, it will probably be the same things that we saw on the 10th when we were there. They did, for those of you who weren't able to make it that night, they do have some very pretty big boards of, this is the park, and then we got to write down little suggestions on pieces of paper and stick them on things, You know the drill. And you missed that. Okay, next, City Shapers Presentation and Workshop. This is kind of fun, actually. Stephen and I were actually asked through the mayor by somebody from UWO who does, it's Lego, I want to say. It's a Lego summer camp, basically, for 4th through 8th grade. And they wanted some sustainability input from the city because they want their group of students of campers to work on finding solutions. So we found that to be quite exciting, and we've put together, we are in the process of putting together a presentation and an activity, and expect to be able to keep 30 4th through 8th graders busy for a couple of hours, so it'll be a great time. If
Great.
anybody's
Excellent.
free, it's from 10 to 11:30 on July 13th, 14th, 15th and 22nd.
I believe that's, yes.
Yeah, I was counting down from the first
A
there. It
couple
is
of
on a
Mondays.
Monday night,
Yep.
Monday day, yeah.
And where?
It's at the university. It's going to be somewhere in Reunion, I think.
So, yes.
So it should be interesting. It should be a good time. Okay, so that was, did you have anything you wanted to say about that, beyond that, or?
I think that covers most of it. I think we had talked about looking at parks, Lakeshore. It should be a fun activity for them. So I just have to work on following up from my end, and
Yeah, we
we're
kind of,
kind of working on it together.
yeah, plan to give them an overview of parks and sustainability in general, and why parks are a good thing to have as part of our social justice system. Nikki, anything that you might have that you want to, forward to me to add to that would be awesome. I'm going to be working on it probably next weekend, so. Gee, you got a couple of days yet before the 4th. And then Stephen was going to do more of the technical, and this is what we have to work with and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, okay. Rain Barrel Workshop, which we have scheduled, Vic, for Tuesday,
The 16th.
July 16th. So far, we only have a few people that have expressed interest.
Yes.
We do have some of the barrels. We do have the location. It's pretty much all set to go, but we really need to figure out how we're going to hype this. Has it been on Facebook yet?
No, I plan to do that this evening, actually, after the meeting.
Okay.
But yeah, we're gonna have like a Facebook event for it and all that kind of fun stuff too. So
Okay, yeah, because we are going to have an idea of the count so that we know if, first of all, if it's viable to do it or not, and
Right.
also how many materials to prepare for, and that, how many barrels to have. Those suckers are big. If we don't have to carry them around, we don't need extras hanging out.
There's something we can do to promote that at the farmer's market.
Yes, absolutely. We had that sign-up sheet last time, but we should,
Low key. We need
yeah, do you want my
eye-catching.
rain barrel?
That'd be a good start, yeah.
Yeah, I knew you
That
were
could
going to
go-
say that, yeah. I think that I could probably bring it to the farmer's market.
Or I could come over and get it if,
It won't fit in your vehicles.
in my Subi?
You can use my truck. We'll work on that.
Yeah, 'cause we
Okay.
need something to, if we're gonna get people interested, we need something really eye-catching. Where they say, what is this thing doing here and why is it here? And then we can, everybody that walks by, we can explain it to.
Well, and it'll be raining because we're at the farmer's market, and so we'll just let it fill up and show how it works.
See, just.
Pretty clear to me, that always works. What you don't know is Robert is a rain god, clearly. Yes.
Let's get a rubber ducky to put in there.
Either a rubber ducky or somebody in the barrel.
Oh, that's better yet.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Okay.
Environmental Leadership Award update. Do we have anything on that?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Still, like I said, in addition to Alert, and if anybody else is interested in serving on that committee, just let me know. I may reach out to some of you too. I still have to follow up on,
Well, and we have a couple of people from our Rotary partners too. that
yes.
are working with that.
But
And we don't plan to make that award again until February, so we have a couple of months.
Yeah, we have a little bit of time, but I still have to follow up from my end too on, because the city does work with different vendors on like getting those plaques made for like the board and commission years of service and such.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about maybe approaching some of them to see
Absolutely.
if we can have, because that was something that I think the Rotary wanted too, was an actual plaque that can be put on display,
Sure.
not just a certificate that we present to.
That would be
awardees.
nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay,
That's something
nomination.
then that at the State of the City could be presented also.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, since we did our first one at the State of the City, we had planned to continue to do that,
Good.
which is why, like by February or so, we need to have that be our final deadline.
Sure.
Menominee Shoreland Restoration, in Michelle's absence tonight.
Did she tell you whether she got any response from the Herald article?
No, I haven't had a chance to talk to her at all. Do you want to give us a little recap of the Herald article, since you read it?
Just, we've done all these good things. These are the people who are involved. Come join us, and if you have questions, call Michelle at whatever the.
And they mentioned that the Audubon Society is going to be, did they work with you with
No,
Or
but that's
a
in the
separate one?
article. They did like a shout out to the Audubon for coming to help them work, and there was like a photo of some of the Audubon Society members in there too. So,
So,
it looked
so
nice.
far, we've had 2 really good work groups there, haven't we?
We have.
Yeah.
And you want to tell them about your, while we're on
Oh,
this?
there was an article about the Citizens Climate Lobby, the Oshkosh chapter.
I saw
You
that.
saw it? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, so.
Yes.
They interviewed Shannon and me probably a month ago or something, but, yeah.
don't you love having a local paper that's printing local news that way?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Was-
cool.
yeah. And I didn't write it, they wrote it. I mean, they sent a reporter who interviewed us and.
Wow. You're famous. You and
yeah.
Shannon both. I'm so glad that you've gotten involved with that, Pat, and it's a nice bridge between us and Citizens Climate Lobby for you to be attending and able to
Oh.
tell us about all the wonderful things they're doing. So I believe I also saw that they're having, they have a lot of new support at the national level. Is that correct? I thought my last newsletter said
You
that.
mean in terms of the,
Legislators
Members
that
of
have signed on,
Congress?
yeah.
yeah. So it's still, it's still a process, but yeah, they are starting to get some support for it.
Getting traction, I love
Yeah.
it. Okay. I guess since it's not noticed, we can't really discuss about that, but. Okay, Oshkosh Farmers Market. We will be there again on Saturday. We being Robert. Anyone else able to attend on Saturday?
This coming.
This coming Saturday?
It's the 13th.
13th.
13th. Oh, yeah, no,
It's
not.
Saturday after this coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't
the
even
13th.
count this week because it's a holiday week. I'm sorry. Yes, it's on the 13th.
13th, yeah.
Yeah. So, which gives us time to get a Facebook event up and viable and see what's coming from that. And then we can get additional signups from,
I was gonna offer to help in August.
I
oh,
can
that's
do
okay.
maybe 2
Whenever you
hours. I
can.
could share with somebody else and do the other 2 hours.
Okay. If anybody else is available, let Stephen know so that he can get that. And I know we all have things going on Saturdays, so I understand.
And you start at what time?
We have to be set up and ready to go at 8.
So
Get there
Early.
about, the latest I get there is 7:30. Usually it's quarter after.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, and I have the tables again, don't I?
And we need to contact
The table.
Lori.
Yep, got that one covered. Okay, got the notes for all that, and then Stephen's gonna get us some beautiful things that we will not get wet, we promise.
I'll try to get those printed.
When it starts to rain, we'll quick put something over them. Something plastic,
Maybe we could get a clear tarp thing. Something,
so it could be underneath
the stuff would
everything.
be there and we just throw clear plastic over it.
Let me see if I can't just find one of those in our shed or something.
People that have houses have things like that.
Yeah. Okay, if you think of anything else we need, let us know. Social media discussion.
Yeah, so July posts are actually already done and to Stephen. Just on my end, noticing that I'm unfortunately usually waiting until our meeting of the month that I'd like to be posting in. So I'm just going to be a little more proactive and try and get those done earlier. So if you have any input about things you'd like posted, if you can get that to Stephen, who will then send it to me earlier, sooner than later. We can always make additional posts as well based off the ones that we schedule. But I do want to be more proactive in getting them done earlier so we can be posting earlier and more consistently. So that's just something on my end that I'll be taking care of. For the month of July, the focus is on birds. So like how birds are important to habitat, sustainability, all that fun. And then for August, that's when we will do the local food theme that was suggested last month. That will be in August. So I'll get working.
Excellent. Thank you for planning ahead and being so organized. We appreciate that. Would you like to maybe come clean my basement?
No, I'll organize it, but I will not clean it.
Pick a
Different
number,
things.
pick a number.
Yeah, really. Okay, and then we had added an item to the agenda. Actually, I did that. I had a call from one of our council members, and he asked if the SAB would review this issue and provide direction to the staff and council about whether the current practices that the city is using for, did you all read this? I don't know if we gave you anything on it, did we?
I don't-
Okay, you don't know what I'm talking about
you
at
get it?
all.
No,
So-
I saw on the agenda, but I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't see it
Okay,
either.
so, well, first, let me go back a little bit. One of our past board members is Stephen Barney, who has brought to the council several times now a concern about Roundup, which is glyphosate? I don't know, Pat, however you say it. Okay. And so the question was, how is the city using this product, if they are? And of course, the concern is that not only is it probably causing cancer, but it's also flowing into, we have a lot of water around here. So, because Mr. Barney had raised this question more than once, one of the council members had passed it on to ask us to review it. And so we did get some information about what is currently happening with it. City departments, in different city departments, in the Parks Department, they do work with products that contain glyphosate. I'm going to call it Roundup, okay? We all know that's a trade name, but I can say it. It's diluted and applied to targeted species where approximately 2 to 5% of the active ingredient is used per gallon of water. And I can forward this to all of you too, so you'll have it you can see it. And the question is do we think that we could make recommendations to have the same end result of whatever it is they're trying to do with this without it having to be Roundup. So we use this product to spot treat many areas throughout the parks, cemetery, and open space to help reduce maintenance and improve aesthetics throughout our operation. We are also cognizant of safety and environmental concerns during application, which probably means that the people that are applying it wear protective gear, which always seems kind of weird, doesn't it? In addition, we continue to research alternative resources and techniques to continue improving our service to public green spaces. And this may be an opportunity for us where we could do some of that research and maybe help them out if we have some. And we do have some people I know on this board that have the wherewithal to do that. So that was the Parks Department. The water filtration plant says they use it under the perimeter fence to keep weeds and grass down. And they are also researching organic weed killers that do not contain that G word. That's it, we'll call it the G word. The library contracts with a commercial lawn service. And I have found that anybody that's running a commercial operation does tend to be somewhat less sustainable than, say, a municipality might try to be. They admit that they do use herbicides containing the G word. Transit uses it on a very limited basis around the gates to control grass or weeds. And the Public Works Garage, same thing. The fire department does not stock Roundup or similar products. There may be a station or two that has a small bottle that they purchase themselves and are using, but it's not sanctioned there, really. So overall, this survey showed that all the different staff tends to use this as in a diluted state and limited as they can, and are in full compliance, they say, with our use of this product, but will continue to monitor regulations regarding its usage. So that's the official word on it. They are investigating cost-effective organic alternatives, but if we had suggestions on anything, I don't think it would be wrong to share those. And I know that after I've sent this to you and we have a chance to maybe give it some thought and look it over some, maybe we can bring this back next month and see if we've come up with any suggestions or recommendations, or if anybody would like to really work on it, we could have a subcommittee or something.
Or endorsement of what they're doing.
Yes, or we could say thank you very much for what you're doing, and we see you're doing the best you can. But we'll see if that's where we end up.
I was asked by my department head, Alan, to set up a meeting, so I did, with basically my supervisor, my department head, and then the parks director and city forester. So we as staff were going to discuss it a little bit, and then they may or may not, I think they may come to the next meeting too. They were thinking we could take action in August on it.
Okay, so we are definitely bringing this back in
Yes, that's the intention. Yep.
August and, okay.
I also have a question. So the Parks Department mentioned that they were using it in targeted areas. Is there any way we could ask for what exact species they're trying to kill? Because obviously, like, certain herbicides, et cetera, are better at targeting certain species. Like, if we knew the species of plant they were trying to remove, that would be very helpful in the investigation of what we could propose as an alternative.
This is true,
Just a thought.
yes. Yes, to help reduce maintenance and improve aesthetics.
Yeah.
Does anybody on the board have the necessary skill set to analyze chemical things?
On our board, we might.
Equipment. To do what, analyze the
I mean, in
chemicals?
terms of how can we make recommendations about such complex chemicals without understanding chemistry?
By analyze, you mean a chemical analysis,
Well,
or
I
you
mean,
mean
it's,
an
no, I mean, it's
analyzing?
like,
No.
if we're gonna suggest some alternatives, how do we sort out a problem like that?
Well, if it doesn't have the glyphosate in
I
it,
guess you'd have to talk
would be
to
a starting
people
point.
who have expertise in gardening and using substitutes for that. I don't know, does the.
like, maybe we could check with UW Extension or something and
Right,
find out
yeah,
what
and see what
master
they
gardeners are
recommend.
recommending.
Yeah, the
and-
Master Gardener
Okay.
program.
Yeah. And there's always the internet.
First, I thought you meant like
Yeah,
a chemical
research articles,
analysis.
yeah.
Oh, no, we're not gonna be breaking that down. I think they've already done that. That's why,
Right,
how they
should
know it's
be
so
in the
dangerous.
label. We can trust the labels presumably.
You know if that 2 to 5% dilution is common, or is that?
I've never touched the stuff, so I don't know, Adam. See, that's on the sustainability board here. We've never used it, so we don't know about this stuff.
Which is why we ask questions about who would know.
Exactly, yeah.
Master Gardeners would know. I can reach out.
I'll
Okay,
check with
thank you.
Evergreen, because they do use it, and they do have master gardeners.
It's one of their sites, yep.
You mean they do use master gardeners, or they do use Roundup?
Master Gardeners.
They are a two of them are master gardeners, and they do use Roundup.
Okay. Okay, is there anything anyone would like to see on the agenda for a future meeting? Doesn't have to be in August, but any future meeting. Obviously, next month, we'd like to have the report from the, what you learn about this nasty chemical.
Oh, sure.
So I'm gonna put it down as Roundup, so it can be the R word instead of the G word. And we'll have our shoreline restoration report maybe next time. And by then, we'll know how our rain barrel workshop has worked out. And, let's see, our next meeting will be August something, so yes, it will be after our Lakeshore, after our workshop with the Parks Board and Bike and Peds, so we'll have that to report on. Is there anything else that anyone would like to have us bring up?
Are we going to do anything with the environmental by that time?
I hope so.
Maybe we should just, as an update for the.
Sure.
Keep that on there.
We could just keep social media on there for every month. That'd be great.
Yeah, I think that's kind of permanent, but I really think it's great that you've got 2 months going already.
Working on it.
Could you just plan that out for the rest of the year now, then?
There's an outline for, yes.
I knew there
through
would be.
2020. I can't help myself.
Okay. Then, our next meeting will be on Monday, it says right here, Monday, August 5th, right here in this room. And would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn to workshop session to look at our sustainability plan update, which is nearly done?
Eric,
A motion for.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.